Hi, I'm Rob Hughes and I'm here to talk to you about this little beauty. This is a FishSpy. Now, what is it? Well, for a start, you can see clearly it is some sort of a float, but it's a lot more clever than that. It's actually a marker float, and this is where the fun begins. In the bottom there, it's got a camera. Why on earth do you need one of these? Well, firstly, without any shadow of doubt, it's going to catch more fish because it's going to tell you what's on the bottom, and also sometimes what's in the water in between the top and the bottom as well, if you're lucky enough to see them. But the key with this is it tells you what's on the bottom. You can use it in exactly the same way that you would normally use a bog standard marker float. Cast it out, feel along the deck, let it up to the surface. That gives you the depth. But this is where the clever stuff begins. You can link this to your telephone and it will send a signal back to your phone so you can actually see real time what's out there when that's on the surface. Now, Wi-Fi doesn't work underwater, but the problem is solved again because this will record what you're seeing. So press record on the phone, cast it out, have a feel around, get it back in again, look at your phone, bingo, you can see what's on the bottom. A lot of you guys out there will know that I spend an awful lot of time underwater, and there's no question whatsoever that it's helped me with my fishing. Having that knowledge of what's on the deck just helps you catch more fish. How on earth can you know, firstly, what rig to use, what bait to use, and how to present if you don't know what's on the bottom? It's just beyond belief for me that people cast out without knowing what's down there. A marker float is great because it will tell you the depth, it will give you that idea what's out there when you're pulling the lead back, but it's a picture in your mind's eye. This thing goes one step further and it actually gives you a real picture. You can see it. There's no room for guessing. You can actually see what's out there. So, how does it work? Well, in exactly the same way that a normal marker float works, you set your boom up, cast it out, and that will float up to the surface. Bring it back down again, and it can see what's on the bottom. Number of questions that I got when I first used this is exactly how good is this camera? Well, it's a low light camera, so it is pretty good. It doesn't need an awful light to be able to get a good signal back. And also, obviously, when it's getting closer to the bottom, it's got something to focus on and it will pick up what's on the deck. And that's the most important thing for me. Now, pretty easy to use. It's simply a twist of this little button here. That will allow it to turn on and turn off. When it's on the surface, it sends the Wi-Fi signal back. When it's underwater, you need to record it. So remember, press record before you cast it out there, and then you can watch it back on the phone afterwards. And what else are its uses? What are its key points? One, seeing what's on the bottom, getting that picture, not just the mind's eye picture, getting the actual picture of what's down there. But if you're really, really precise and you can get it over your baited spot, if you're down shoving a bit of bait in now and again, take the float down, run it over the top, you can see whether or not that's being eaten. That is a massive, massive edge. Not only that, but you can see how your baited spot is developing partway through the session. So if you put bait out and you want to know how much is being eaten, stick your float back out, have a look, bring it back in again, Bob's your uncle. In addition to that, you can see weed growth. How long is that weed? How much weed is there around? You can check the whole area around your spot. And not only that, but if you're trying to develop your own little spot through the course of the year, you can see how that's developing. In the spring, there's not going to be much weed. As the summer goes on, there's going to be a lot more weed, and with this you can see exactly how much is there and whether your fish are keeping your spot clean. So all in all, it's a pretty decent gadget. It works well, it's user friendly, and unquestionably it'll catch you more fish.